Hello everyone and welcome to the lesson that is called tracking. Hopefully there is no need to explain what tracking is, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So let's move on right away. I personally divide tracking into two types. The first type is surface tracking. That is, all objects are static in a frame and you track only the camera moving. The second type is object tracking, which means that you track an object moving but not the camera. With this type, you track how our object is moving in relation to the camera and then, on the basis of this, create null objects and parent graphics to them. The next thing is video frame rate. It's preferable that your video has 25 or 24 frames per second. This will be quite enough for any type of tracking. However, you'd better not use more than 30 frames, for example 50 or 60, because your tracking process will become twice as slow and twice as complicated. It can cause a lot of troubles in general. That's why I always work with 25 frames and enjoy my life. The next thing is the duration of a video. A video shouldn't be too long as well. Usually it's a fragment that lasts up to 8-10 seconds. This will be quite enough. I never track long video fragments, for example 20 or 30-second ones. Hardly anyone does it at all. Maybe just those who are looking for pain and suffering. So, the optimal duration for your videos is 4, 5, 6, or probably 7 seconds. And here's the key point about object tracking. Your object needs to take up at least 50% or 60% of a frame. If your object is too small, the program won't be able to catch it, so your tracking won't work. But if your object takes up enough space in a frame, everything should work well. Here's a few more important things. First, a video needs to have good lighting and no hard shadows if possible. The sunlight shouldn't hit the object or the surface because it can make the process of adding graphics to the video a bit more complicated. And last but not least, there should be no shaking and fast movements in your video. If you film a video with your iPhone and in the video you are, let's say, chasing someone, I doubt that you'll be able to make a good quality tracking of this video. Thus, make sure your video is well stabilized beforehand. So that has been the introductory part. Now let's move on to tracking. The first thing you need to do is, of course, to run After Effects. Here we go. Then, let's import our video into After Effects and create a new composition right away. I usually apply the following settings: Full HD and 25 frames per second. Let's create a composition with a duration of 10 seconds. I think this will be enough. And click OK. Drag our video into the timeline right away. Now let's select the necessary video fragment. Great! Then you need to create a mask for the face. Select a mask of the right shape. Let's say you play Minecraft a lot. You can select a square one and be happy with that. As for me, I select an ellipse mask. That's it. I think it will be enough. So now you need to animate the mask. As you can see, the head goes outside the boundaries of the mask. But you need the head to be always inside the mask. Therefore, let's open the mask properties and set the first keyframe. Then, you just move a few frames forward and make our mask follow the face. Make it till the end of the video. It doesn't take much time, so I think that you can work it out easily. So, our mask is ready. Let's add feather a bit. Select the layer, press F, and adjust it like this. Just a bit. Now let's rename our composition to footage and place it into a new composition. This thing is really important to do since I've shot this video in 60 frames per second, although, as you may remember, I've set 25 frames per second when creating the composition. If you apply a 3D camera tracker to our footage, it will calculate all the 60 frames that we have. However, if you add this composition to a new one and apply 3D camera tracker, it will calculate 25 frames. So, now let's move on to the tracker panel. If you don't have it, just go to Window and check Tracker. Then, it will appear right here. Let's click on Track Camera to start analyzing our camera. It doesn't take much time. Everything depends on your computer. I hope you have a super powerful one and you're ready to break into the world of motion design. The process of analyzing is over. You can see lots of points here. This is really good because you could do nothing without them. If you hover the cursor over these points, you'll see such a plane. Let's right-click and select Create Solid and Camera. Great! Now you can go into your composition and delete the mask. You no longer need it as we have already done all the work with it. I guess I should add a little more contrast here and apply the curves. By the way, if you don't know what panel it is, this is the panel called VFX Console by Video Copilot. It's a really convenient thing. You just press some hotkey and you can apply any effect that you need. So, I will apply the curves to add a little contrast, and I will put a point here and here. Perfect. Let's go back. And here you can see such a solid, which has already been placed in space and is kind of attached to the face. Let's scale it down a bit and move it like this. Yes, as you can see, our tracking is completed just perfectly. Our solid follows the face. Let's apply the grid effect in order to see the exact location. Here we go. So cool, kind of cyberpunk. And now you can apply any effects that you can imagine. We will consider how to do this in the following parts of the course. You can add something, for example, to the background, something to or around the face. It's just important to know a better way to do it. Let's type in some text just for example so that you can understand how it works. Now, let's convert the text to 3D. As you can see, it's very close to the camera now. I'm moving back and forth in the timeline in order to see where this layer is and to place it together with the solid. Just hold down Shift and parent it to our solid like that. And now, our text and the solid are located at the same place. In fact, it already looks good. Let's rotate the text a bit. Set it like this, rotate it like that. Then I'll apply glow to make our text glow and select the Add mode. Just like my name. And this is what we've got. We've made it quite well. I think everyone has understood that it isn't that hard but pretty simple. The key thing here is that you have a good quality video and the head or any object occupies about 50 to 60% of a frame. Then, you'll come up with a perfect result. Everything will be tracked well, and then you'll be able to easily apply any graphics that you can only imagine. In the same way, you can make surface tracking but without using a mask. It's even easier. Just apply 3D camera tracker, and there will appear a bunch of points that you can attach anything to. In this particular example, I've also created a solid. Then, I've created the text and placed it into the space. To be more exact, I've linked it to the ground where the solid was. Next, I've just duplicated the text several times, decreased the opacity of each one, and it all resulted in such a cool thing. That's it for now. I hope everything is clear to you. See you in the next video.